Good morning, good evening, or good night, folks. I'm your host, Simon Redhanded, and welcome to Gaming Redhanded, where today we're going to talk about all the butterfly locations on the map. I'll show you them all real quick, and then after I'll go through and we will look at the direct route to how to get to all these points. There are, from what I understand, about 4 points where you get butterflies from. You can get one here at 73 source extraction point, right over here. Securement Silo Alpha at the entrance. Another location is over here in the Alternate Reality Research Institute. This point is Ricci Securement Point right over here. And then finally down here by the Gaia Research Center ruins. I've also found a spawn here in White Cliff that is lightning orbs. I don't know if they spawn butterflies, but since they alternate, I figured I'd mark it on the map here, but I have personally not found a butterfly from here. Now, this is all you're looking for here. You can, leave a like, jump off the channel, go somewhere else. But if you hang by, I'll tell you my thoughts on what I think about how butterfly camping works, the timers on the butterflies and whatnot, and then I'll show you the exact route where you need to go to catch all these butterflies. Okay, we are at 73 source extraction point. We use this teleportation tower. 73 source extraction point is just west of Blackfell. The way we get in is from here. We're gonna go in, take our car, or we're gonna drive straight. You're gonna come out here. You're gonna be waiting for the elevator. There's someone already here. I've been doing this rotation for so long that I'm just used to it. This place is heavily camped. And wait for the elevator here, and as it comes down, you're gonna go up to the top, cut left, and you're gonna go right to the room here. You're gonna come in, and this is where the butterfly spawns. It spawns right in this corner here. See where that guy's chilling? Right there. All right, so this spot here is like every other butterfly spawn. It's shared with lightning orbs and the butterfly. I don't understand why lightning orbs and butterfly share the same spot. I don't even understand the functional use of a lightning orb. I don't think I would ever actually use it for my base. I don't think they're worth a chamber. The next butterfly location is Silo Alpha. This is probably the most popular location here. If you get a butterfly from here, you're goddamn lucky. People camp this like crazy. It's where the silo dungeon is. Everything happens here. So how you get here is you're gonna come here. You're gonna go straight up. Right, there's already a car here. I'm going to assume someone's already here, right? Someone's always here. And we're gonna go up here. You go straight, and you go straight into the monolith itself. Oh, look at that. There's actually a butterfly here. I am surprised nobody came here and got one from here. This actually inspires me. It makes you want to go check all the other channels. We're going to Gaia Research Center ruins. I usually use this teleporter. You can use this one here, but I find navigating Gaia Cliff Monolith to be a cumbersome ordeal. So I come from here, and we usually just run straight ahead, right? So you mark, you're gonna go right about here, right? I haven't marked my map where the exact spot where it spawns, but we put the location. You do some weird route, don't follow that. Just follow your pin, and you're gonna drive straight. You go this way, and there you go. Oh, look at that, and we got ourselves a shiny. There we go. Listing blue out of the way. We can get out of here now. Securement Silo Ricci, which is right over here. The emissary itself is the different location. It's not up there, it's down here around the corner. So here's the next butterfly spawn. I use Spectral Cloak, that's why my character's invisible like this. You come in, you're coming over here to the Alternate Reality Research Institute, which is just east of Blackfell. All right, so what you're gonna do, this is the route I start off with. I use my car. We're gonna drive straight. I usually go right off this cliff here. I think Spectral Cloak is probably a terrible mimetic, but it's pretty good for stuff like this. It has no other functional use besides being able to run into these outposts here without having to fight anything. This is usually the route I go in. So I come in through here, I usually glide off the edge here. There's a few mobs here if you want to kill them. This area here is roughly level 49. You come here from the story quest at some point here. So come in, right straight up. You can either run up the stairs, run the side here, but I usually climb up this wall here. This is the location where I got my butterfly from. The mobs in, well, not the mobs, the deviations in here are usually between level 1 to 3. It's not the best location when I get a high level one, but this is where he spawns, in this room here. Also in this room here is the void monster, right? Now a quick way out of here, if you want to be able to quickly rotate this place, is you're gonna go this way. Instead of going back down, you're gonna go all the way to the top again, because we're gonna go out that way. You're coming out this way, and you're gonna basically glide across the cliff here. You're not gonna be able to make it directly to the pad, but you can get a nice good location here. And if you recognize, this is where we jumped in from, right? So you're going up here, and you're gonna circle all the way up the hill and get back up to the warp pad, and that's where you go to change channel. Now this location I'm adding to the end of the video with a little star. This is the White Cliff location, and there is a deviant that spawns in here. It is a lightning orb. I do not know if it shares spawn with a butterfly, but since the rules seem to be that butterflies and lightning orbs share spawn, I think it's safe to say that it might. So I'm going to add it to the end of the video here just in case it does, and you guys know where it is, and someone wants to decide to sit here and thoroughly test this location out. Like I said, I don't know if a butterfly spawns here. Every time I've come here, it's been a lightning orb. It's a high level lightning orb sometimes too. I've seen high as 4 or 5 up in here. But like I said, usually they share spawn, so maybe a butterfly will spawn here if we come here. But this is added to the end just as a side. So I figured it'd be a good idea to throw this in here. If you're going to be going out to harvest, well, to farm butterflies, it's a good idea to bring 2 foods with you. So the 2 recipes we're looking for is going to be Italian canned soup and Securement Soup. The Italian canned soup is here at East Blackville Junction. Closest teleporter is Greywater Camp. You go to Greywater Camp, you go to the east, and you'll find it here in the kitchen. And for the Securement Soup, you will go to either this teleporter or this teleporter here, and then you'd run to Leah Research Labs. It's outside the labs, not inside the lab. So here's the location of the first recipe for Securement Soup. You find it in East Blackville Junction. It's over here in the diner. Pick it up off the counter. Well, let me pick this one up because I already have it. This location here is for the Securement Soup, and I would suggest you make your soups because you don't want to be in a situation where you show up here, you camp this spot, and the butterfly pops up and you can't claim it. I've had situations where 4-4 came up. This was a lightning orb grant you. So I had a 4-4 lightning orb show up, and I only had about a 35% or so success chance with no food. I popped the Italian soup. That brought me up to about 66% or so, and I still failed it 3 times before I finally captured this thing. And it runs all over the place. You don't want to be in a situation where you and another guy camping this butterfly, you get first crack, you get it, it fails, he runs around the block, and the other guy waiting with you gets the capture because you didn't have your soup on, you know? And that's what's gonna happen. It's gonna be a 5-5. You know it's gonna be a 5-5, and you're gonna lose it, and you're gonna be kicking yourself for the rest of your once human career. So drink your soup. So let me quickly tell you the difference between both these items here. The Italian canned soup, which is very good if you have canner +1, you can belt out a bunch of these. Requires onions. This is the only rare material. You have to buy it from the vendor. I don't remember which vendor right now. I apologize, but it is sold by the vendor for seeds, and you can multiply them. This one gives you grants deviation capture ability +1 and slightly increases the capture chance. Securement Soup, this one here is exactly the same, except this line here is significantly increases the deviation capture chance. Now, I don't know how big it is. That one time I had a +4 to use. I had an Italian soup and that gave me about 20%. I don't know how big a chance this is. This one requires deviated peppercorn, right? Which is a bit harder to get, and it requires pickles. Deviated peppercorns is this about buying the peppercorn seeds from the vendor in Blackville, and then this is another rare seed, which is cucumber. You have to grow both of these. This has to be deviated proc. This one just requires you to put the cucumbers into the brewing barrels, and then once you do that, it will then turn into pickles after some time. There's a difference between both butterflies here. This is the glistening blue butterfly emissary, and what it does is it does exactly the same thing where it marks your target, weak spot, all the same stuff as a normal butterfly. Its passive is Weak Spot Master. The appearance of deviation has changed. When synced, hitting a weak spot increases securement by 1 additional point. cooldown 3 seconds. So what this does, after you hit a weak spot, it'll give you more cooldown rate for your butterfly to come back out. Every 3 seconds, you'll get +1 additional point. So this will increase the rate at which you can pull your butterfly out and use it in combat. Starry Night Butterfly Emissary. This one has praised the moon. The original subtext is the same. The appearance of the deviation has changed. When synced, you deal 6% more damage, both weapon damage and status damage at night. The effect is reduced by half during the day. This is incredibly powerful because there aren't many other ways to get a always active synchronization bonus. No other combat deviants do this besides the festering gels, which are the other combat shinies that are available. This is interesting because going forward, it means this one is probably a priority to keep in your cradle because of this 6% more damage, right? Or 3%. Just so people should know, all dungeons are considered to be running during the daytime, so this will always be half 3%, but half 3% is still very powerful. Yeah, this one is very strong. I don't have any of the rare festering gels. I just know what some of their effects are, and this one here is hopefully when they add in the rest of the shiny deviant, they have the similar effect of something always active when you synchronize with them. So I want to take a moment and talk about what I've learned while farming these butterflies here. I'm going to do it while I'm farming butterflies anyway, so you guys get to see my route and how I do this. I've done both strategies where I've sat in one spot for a couple days and waited, and I've done the server hopping, and both are equally effective in terms of getting deviations to spawn. The Starry Night or the Glistening Butterfly are both just extremely random. They're extremely rare, so you know it's gonna take a while. I've gotten 30, 40 butterflies, mostly lightning orbs, and I've only gotten 3 or so glittering shinies, right? What I would say is that I've taken note on how some of the timers work. I wouldn't say anything is set in stone here, but what I was doing in order to get some consistency was I was marking, when I would take a butterfly or a lightning orb to clear the spawn, I would keep track of what time it was when I've gotten it. And I've noticed that they seem to spawn on server time intervals that kind of mimic the resets, right? I should say that actually. I would say they would come at the top of the hour. So what I mean by that is, say it was like, I would set an alarm to come onto the server around 55 mark. So when I say 55, I mean like 8:55, 9:55, 10:55, something like that, right? And I would come on and I would wait. And usually if it didn't show up between 55 and 05, I would assume that I missed the spawn and I would just log on and come back in another 20 minutes or so. And what I would notice is that very consistently it would spawn either just a few minutes before the top of the hour or right at the top of the hour or just a few minutes after the top of the hour. I've got a lot of spawns around 58, 59, a lot of spawns around 02, 03, which what I mean by that is like 10:02, 10:03, something like that, right? And what I noticed that is I would set it, when I got it at that time, I would set an alarm and come back again. And if I was really active, I would come and check again in 20 minutes. So I would check around, oops, I'm gonna die here if I don't kill myself. I would check around, say, if I got it at 03, I would come back again at 25 and I would wait. And usually I would see it show up again around that time. Actually, I wouldn't say 25, I would say 22. So I got at 8:03, I'd come back at 8:22 and just wait. And I would see something else spawn around 8:23, 8:24, all the way up to 8:29, something else would spawn in that time frame. And it seemed pretty consistent. And if I were to make a guess on how these spawns work, I would say there's a chance for them to spawn every 20 minutes. And there are times where they miss that spawn. So there's times when I would show up at 8:05 and nothing would show up. And then it would show up at 8:22 or 8:23. And there was times that nothing would show up at 8:23 and it would show up like clockwork around 8:42. And there's times where something would show up at 23 and 42 and 55, and it would hit all those marks. So I would be there just waiting there, and I would grab all of them, and they would literally spawn every 20 minutes. So it's not consistent. It's not saying like, well, it's every hour on the hour. I have a feeling it is a timer that's every 20 minutes, and there's some kind of check that says, will he spawn, yes or no? And they will either spawn either a lightning orb or a butterfly or nothing. And I feel like that 20-minute timer is pretty consistent because I've sat literally in this one spot. I'd be doing homework or watching Netflix, and I would literally just cycle through deviants, and they would show up every 20 minutes or so, or sometimes I would go an hour or two and they didn't show up. There's some speculation that it's like, oh, well, if you're standing too close to the spawn, they won't show up. That doesn't matter. I've literally stood right on the spawn and they just popped up right in front of me. Either way, it doesn't matter. I've had people try to block me and I had to just basically stand right where the thing spawns, and then I would still be able to capture it. So it doesn't matter where you position, doesn't matter if you're standing on the spot, it will still show up. Whether it shows up or not is based on another factor that I just don't know what it is. But I am pretty confident in saying that, like, showing up on the hour is a good way to do it. All right, that was kind of long. Hopefully you guys made it to the end of that. I wanted to make sure this video included everything that I had to go figure out, because when I searched other locations, it had some information. It only had 1 or 2 spawns. It only had the most popular spawns. Didn't even talk about the details that were important. So I figured I'd go through and make sure I got everything in there that I think is necessary for this video. And for anyone pulling it up, your one-stop ultimate guide to figuring out how to farm these butterflies out for yourself. So if you appreciate the content and you found this useful, like the video, leave a comment down below. The Gather Friends event is still going on. My friend code is in the comment section there and in the description. So if you want yourself your own +3 or 3-star DE Jaws and you're still below level 20 for some reason, go ahead and insert my friend code. It'll help you out. I think that's it for now. Have yourselves a good morning. And if this is the only video you're watching me today, a good afternoon or good night.